Imagine a lightweight chassis and a high-revving motorcycle engine. It's been a match made in heaven since the Honda N600. But decades later, a small company in the UK brought this concept to the racetrack, building a high-performance, supercar-slaying track machine that can set lap records, drive legally on the street, and still costs less than the average exotic. Welcome to the Radical SR3. Radical Motorsports was founded in 1997 by two amateur racing enthusiasts, Phil Abbott and Mick Hyde. The pair were tired of driving subpar track cars with unreliable engines that could barely last one season, so they set out to build their own. Hyde and Abbott commissioned a lightweight tube chassis to be designed by Spider Engineering, a company that made replacement chassis for Lotuses. Then, they installed a Kawasaki ZZR 1100 engine in the back, and put a modified body shell from a Robinson Sports 2000 car on top. The resulting Frankenstein project was, as Abbott later described it, an awful idea. Chassis number 1 suffered from numerous design flaws, including poor cooling efficiency and a distinct lack of headlights. But the proof of concept was valid. The first Radical was small, light, and insanely fast for the money. After a lot of tests, a second prototype, and a host of modifications, it began official production in 1997 as the Radical Club Sport. And the Club Sport proved popular among amateur racers. Over 24 were sold in just the first year, thanks to solid performance and low running costs. So Radical decided to develop it into a much more substantial car. Starting in 2001, the company began testing a two-seater evolution of the Club Sport, which would eventually come to be known as the Radical SR3. It had an updated exterior inspired by the legendary Ferrari 333 SP, comprised of fiberglass body panels, an enclosed roll bar, and a massive rear wing. The engine was also upgraded. Rather than using a Kawasaki 1100, the SR3 used a Suzuki Hayabusa 1300cc motor, producing about 200 horsepower. In a car that weighed around 1,100 pounds, that was enough to provide 0 to 60 acceleration in under 3 seconds and a top speed of about 140 miles per hour. And by 2009, Radical was rolling out a second generation. Several SR3s ended up being registered for road use around the UK, signaling that there was demand for a street-legal model. The company responded in 2011 with the SR3 SL, modified with a smaller rear wing, higher seatbacks, turn signals, and more ground clearance to make it roadworthy. It was the first Radical to depart from the motorcycle-driven formula, using a turbocharged 4-cylinder Ford EcoBoost rather than a built Hayabusa motor, perfect for setting lap records at the local drive-thru. Today, over 20 years since the introduction, the SR3 is now in its 5th generation. Called the SR3 XXR, it has highly evolved styling and new features that update the performance to modern supercar standards. The chassis is still a lightweight tubular space frame design, now conforming to FIA certification standards. A Formula One Halo-inspired cockpit safety structure is also offered. Radical says that they've held off from upgrading to a carbon tub chassis to avoid any exorbitant price increases. The tube frame style is much cheaper and still more than capable of outrunning most supercars. As for the new XXR exterior, it features full LED lighting as standard, and has fiberglass body panels available in 7 different colors from the factory. Styling draws from LMP race cars, with a prominent snorkel intake and central shark fin. Downforce is generated by a chassis-mounted front splitter, fully adjustable biplane carbon wing, and optional dive planes. Unlike early Radicals, which were single-seat only, the XXR is offered with center, left, or right-hand drive. The interior is described as driver-focused, which means the only real features here are the 6-point racing harness and AIM formula steering wheel. It has an integrated 4.3-inch TFT display, reading out essential data like the rev counter, gear indicator, and predicted lap time, eliminating the need for any dash-mounted gauges. As is tradition, the SR3 XXR is still powered by a Hayabusa-based drivetrain, although the motors are heavily modified by the Radical Performance Engine department. The base 1340cc option produces 201 horsepower and 120 pound-feet of torque. A bored-out 1500cc upgrade bumps power to 232, including a forged aero crankshaft, Cosworth forged pistons, and bespoke dry sump lubrication system, all without adding any extra weight. Either engine option will be paired with a 6-speed paddle-shifted sequential transmission. Radical builds as much of the car as possible at their headquarters in Peterborough. That includes things like welding the tube chassis together, building the engines into custom modified units, and forming the fiberglass body panels by hand. This in-house strategy means costs are kept lower than brands who contract out most of the work, and replacement parts are easy to come by. The MSRP for a new SR3 is alleged to be about $110,000, though used models sell for an average of just $50,000, with the lowest dropping into mid-20s. As for performance, the SR3 has proven itself to be faster than entry-level exotics from Ferrari, Lamborghini, and Porsche on racetracks all around the globe. Their website includes a list of track records for the car, set by owners and amateur race teams from the 19 different official Radical racing leagues around the world. Rough performance estimates put 0 to 60 at about 3 seconds and top speed near 160 miles per hour. But of course, the SR3 isn't the only model offered by Radical. Over the years, their lineup has expanded to now include 5 different models. The SR1 is a more entry-level variant of the SR3, with a little less power at 188 horses and a little lower price at about $80,000. The SR10 fills the opposite role. It's more expensive than the SR3, with an MSRP rumored to be about $180,000, but it also comes with higher performance from a 425 horsepower built EcoBoost motor. Finally, there's the RXC, a closed cockpit, LMP-inspired halo car with over 700 horsepower, also available as an open-air Spider. During the past 28 years, Radical has sold over 3,000 cars from 34 dealerships spread across the planet. More than a third of those have been SR3s, adding to the brand's claim that it's the world's best-selling race car. The company is famous in amateur racing leagues for offering high performance at a low running cost, not to mention setting track records wherever they run. Radical even achieved the Nürburgring production car record in 2009. The brand has also competed at the 24 Hours of Le Mans, claiming multiple top 10 finishes. Toyota even used the platform to develop all-electric race cars that went on to set records at Pikes Peak. So whether you're an amateur track day enthusiast, global automotive icon, or you just want to beat Ferraris and Lamborghinis for a fraction of the price, Radical probably has the car for you. Let me know in the comments what you think about the SR3. Remember to subscribe, and thanks for watching.